Comics in the first episode of our new daily live stream. We are about to open the shop. In about 5 minutes, I'm going to open the doors to the shop, but I thought we should do the live stream and explain the ground rules and things like that before I had the shop officially open. Generally, the live stream will be attempted around noon. You can check my social media, probably Instagram stories if it will be delayed. But the live stream, as much as this is our first episode, which is you'd think I'd start on Sunday since the live stream is Sunday through Friday. Why am I starting on Friday? I'm starting on Friday because yesterday our live stream on Facebook hit episode 1200. I have been since March 22nd of 2020 doing a daily update for the first few months from my house. For the next few months on and off between my house and the store, and the next 3 years after that just kept going. Every Tuesday and Wednesday we show off the new releases for those days. Most of the early episodes have like specific focuses. We did a book club for a while. We did a lot of discussion about what we would do when DC Comics changed distribution. It's a time capsule of those times, but it was also a place where if you watched it a day or two after it came out, you would see new books that came out. You know, if you could come in to our Facebook page, you can go to our Facebook page right now and see dozens of them. Over the course of the last 4 years, there have been live streams that are over an hour long, and there have been live streams that have been less than a minute long. We lean a lot closer to less than a minute than we do to the other one. I would say in 2024, hey Dave, in 2024, the live stream's average time was probably around 10 minutes, between 5 and 10 minutes. There were ones that were half an hour long, like our last one. There were ones that were 20 minutes long. There were a lot that were 2 or 3 minutes, 4 minutes. I don't have much to say. We didn't get any new books today, but I unpacked some stuff. A lot of it was also a place where I just talked. I talked about my life. I talked about all sorts of things going on, both in comics and in the world, especially that's how it started. So I don't know if we'll be doing that on YouTube. It will really depend on how many people follow us over from Facebook, as well as how many people actually take to this, because this is why I started this before we went live at the store, before we opened. One of the things that makes our store, definitely for our area, unique is that I still work in the shop masked. Now, it doesn't mean I'm wearing a mask the entire time. If there's absolutely no one in here, if it's foul weather, I'll take the mask off. I take the mask off to drink. I wear a mask because it's a whole thing, which we can do a whole episode on if people want, but I will be pointing out that in a minute or two, I'll probably grab my mask and have it ready for if someone comes in. We are going to try and have more of a focus in this live stream at each episode doing a specific thing. Friday episodes on the old live stream were always a review. They were talking about what happened that week, what we got, things I might have missed, things that we talked about on the live stream. But I'm not going to discuss my following week. This is really our first episode for people to check out and see what they think of it. So I'm going to discuss the old live stream. I'm going to discuss it a little bit. It's going to be our topic. In about 2 minutes, I'm going to open the door. So I could get distracted. I could have to talk to customers. That is one of the things that the live stream took in stride. When it started we just talked about this yesterday, for about 2 years, 1 in 3 or 4 live streams were at the shop. They were almost all done at my house, done while I was going somewhere, making deliveries of comics. But then we opened to our full hours by the end of 2021, 2022, early 2022 for most days, and the live stream became something about the shop. But still, there weren't so many people coming in, and there were lots of things that I was selling more to people on the live stream than in the shop. That has changed. Quite frankly, lately in 2024, the live stream has very much been about me complaining and worrying about things. So I'm trying on YouTube to not do that so much. We are going to try and focus more. But again, if you're interested in just hearing me babble about pretty much anything, there are 4 years of archives over there on Facebook. If you don't know our shop at all, we've got a store tour up here on YouTube that you can look at to get a general idea. We've got 2 other videos. One, my thoughts on the current single issue market and how it is moving, as well as a recommendation, the first of our recommendation videos for the Now of Brown. There's also a really old video from 2017, 18 with Chip Zdarsky on my old podcast that I did, which I think is now off the internet completely. I think Apple has scrubbed it by now. We haven't done an episode in a very long time. We're talking 3 or 4 years. No. Did we do any during the pandemic? No. So we're talking like 6 years. But yeah, there's a few other videos on here, and there's lots of little shorts that are old TikToks that I've done. I've been all over social media, my friends. And yeah, that'll give you a really good idea of who the shop is, what the shop is about. The thing that I think is interesting is that YouTube Live takes like 20 hours, at least so far, the ones that I've done to test it out, to process. So I'm doing this on Friday, but you probably can't see it unless you come to the live right now. You're probably not seeing this till Saturday. So that's going to be interesting because the old live stream, the biggest thing about it was that I would get messages from people. I had one of my most regular watchers, one of their biggest supporters, Joe Contour. Joe's supported a failed Kickstarter we did to start this store 12 years ago. When we were able to get digital comics through Comixology so that we got a little bit of money, Joe moved all of the things that he was buying digitally over onto Aris, and I was talking to other people we had one of the most substantial royalties checks that a lot of them got. And that was mostly Joe. So he would watch whenever he missed it. He'd go and get it, and I'd get messages from him when it was new books. Oh, add this, get that. Tons of times people would come and go, oh yeah, I just saw the live stream earlier today. I'm going to grab that book over there that just came out. So I don't know how that's going to affect YouTube, but I also assume there's going to be a larger audience. For the larger audience, if you're going, wow, this store looks amazing. This guy sounds great. 4 years of a live stream without it really being monetized in any way except to sell books. I should buy some books from him. We also have a website. The Now of Brown, which is the recommendation video that I've got up there on YouTube, here on YouTube. Here, let's give you a tiny little bit of a store tour. Here's my counter. Check out. These are our new releases, our recent arrivals. This has got books from the last week or two on it, as well as Omnibuy there on the bottom. We've got Superhero Corner over here, manga section over there, and then a lot more shop. Anyway, let's get this One Piece open and close sign that we were very nicely gifted by Viz recently in the window. Put that, and then we're going to unlock the door. Again, there's a nice little store tour. It actually doesn't show all the way up here very much because it's supposed to be a rush store tour. So it's a very short video to watch. Not a big deal. Mask, as I said, not a big deal. Now we're moving farther, and this is behind me are the series of books. We're putting the phone down on the As Seen on Screen, which has things like The Walking Dead and Heartstopper and Star Trek and Star Wars all in it. And yeah, that's what we do on the live stream. We talk about comics, we recommend comics. I make a lot of babble that I'm going to try and cut down on here on YouTube. I believe I was actually in the middle of talking about the web store. The web store does not have everything that we have in the shop. If you see something that I'm showing off as a new book, it is not sitting and available in my web store. We don't have our full catalog of books, but you can always reach out here on YouTube with a comment or on any other social media asking us to get you something, and we will PayPal you or email you an invoice and get that book out to you right away anywhere in the US. It's an important aspect of what you should know. If somehow, I don't expect it to happen. Again, I've done this for 4 years. If somehow these videos do gain an audience and people if there's money coming in somehow, I don't know how, we'd have to make some kind of merch. But if there was money coming in, or I was getting a lot more online orders for things, I would switch over to a better system. But as we will talk about on the live stream many times, we are not doing amazingly well financially in 2024. We are really at the nadir. We're really struggling right now, so I don't see it happening. But does sure we'll switch. We'll get Shopify or something like that. But as of now, just reach out to me, email us, put a comment here with some way to contact you, and we will help you get any of the books that you see here on any of the live streams. Um, there's so much different stuff coming out in the comic book market. There's so many different kinds of books. There's so many specific niche markets being fed, and we try to have something for a lot of them. I wouldn't even go so far as to say most of them because there are so many niche markets. I get asked at least twice or three times a week for books that are directly through someone's website, from another country, and I just can't get them all the time. Can you get me this webcomic? I know they're doing a translation that's being published in Norway. Oh, can you get me the book that this and this podcast made? Oh, let me. Nope, that's only available through this one place that's making the book. So we try, but we don't get everything. But it is really a wonderful time to read comic books. I'll also point out that one of the major points I try to make in the live stream is, as much as we do need the money, I'm not here just to sell you things. I'm here to extol the wonders of graphic novels and comic books. So please get them from your library. Use your digital app on your library. A lot of them now have comic books not thanks to, but because Amazon stole Comixology and got a lot of the licenses and moved it all to Kindle and blah, blah, blah. There's a lot of stuff digitally available in bookshops, in libraries. There's a lot of great used stuff here. It's one of the reasons we don't have Cali. I have thousands and thousands of dollar back issues that are just wonderful stories. I just had an 11-year-old, and I think we'll wrap up with this one, and we'll see you again on Sunday for the next live stream. I had an 11-year-old, I think around 11-year-old, and her dad in, and they wanted X-Men stuff. She wanted to get into the comics. She knew the X-Men. She's like, I know the X-Men, but I want to read the comics. And it's like, yeah, she wants to get into like all of it. And all right, sorry, I just got a public notice about the earthquake that happened. Thank you, Dave. I'm going to try and have a nice one. The earthquake that happened a few hours ago here in New York. So I just got a warning. By the way, there was an earthquake. So very helpful. And I said, well, which X-Men do you know? Like, are you watching X-Men 97? And the father's like, looks at me. He's like, no. I'm like, oh, okay, just because there's a comic that's part of that. I said, but you just want to know. And so the girl goes, well, I've seen every X-Men movie. And I like them. I want to know, like, all the stories. And I said, okay. Just so you know, and so I said, let me think about what we have. And the dad goes, well, you have dollar books, right? You have these dollar. And I'm like, oh, absolutely, sure. So I showed him a bunch of stuff. I specifically pointed out X-Men Unlimited because each issue's a bunch of short stories in it. And I said, but just keep in mind that a lot of the comics are like, it's not an adventure like they have in the movies. They don't have this happen, that happen, and they go and they fight someone, and then they come back and then they have to figure out a new way to fight them. It's very stretched out with just a lot of everyday stuff happening in between. She goes, right, yeah. And I'm like, okay, good, that's what you're in for. So I showed them X-Men Unlimited. They ended up getting that in Louise Simonson's new Jean Grey miniseries, I was like, is there a character who history like you really want to get into, someone you really want? And they go, Jean Grey. And I'm like, ooh, that's a tough one. I said, oh, but they just did a series where she literally reviews like her whole life and all the so that actually is a perfect thing if you just want to know all the major. And they're like, yeah, it's exactly what we want. So I got the Jean Grey series, I got that, and I got a couple of X-Men Unlimiteds, and it was wonderful. Like you don't have to further stuff. The Jean Grey series is a great price. It's like $16 for a wonderful 4-issue series by someone who wrote Jean. I mean, I don't know for a decade, but for quite a while. X Factor and X-Men together. She's just a great writer in general, but she definitely knows the character. But my dollar back issues, you can find tons of things like that. I've got $10 sets. I've got $5 sets. There's so much wonderful stuff you can get cheap, and that's true probably any comic shop you can find near you. They've probably got some level of discounted stuff, and definitely worth checking out. That wraps up our first live stream. My old live stream, we used to end it with stay safe, stay strong, and stay healthy. Again, it started during the pandemic, but we are transitioning to a new thing. And I did a couple of other lives here on YouTube, and I ended with this. And I think this is a very good sign off. Um, it's from me on a personal, on a religious, and a moral level. Plus, it's by the great Kurt Vonnegut, and so I'm going to try and use on YouTube as my sign off for the live. Is God damn it, babies, you got to be kind. That's God bless you, Mr. Rosewater. Remember, God damn it, babies, you got to be kind. And until Sunday. Whoop, I got a pop up right as I was hitting that. A pop up, zoop, blocked me. Amazing. There goes my perfect sign off.